So let's cover an additional step that you need to take when you're applying any StreetBond waterborne product to bare concrete. So that means StreetBond 150, StreetBond 120. When you're applying any of these products to bare concrete, you must prime the concrete. Today, we're going to use a product called QS Primer, which is a solvent-based sealer that penetrates into the bare concrete to create adhesion for the top coat. So I've got all of the products that I need for this job right here in front of me. The QS Primer is a two-part component. It consists of a part A and a part B, both of equal volume. Very, very important when you are using this product, you have to realize the part A and the part B look exactly the same. The only way to tell them apart is on the label. In very small letters, it will say part A and part B. So the first thing you're going to want to do is confirm that you have the correct components before you begin. This product also must be mixed and cut with acetone or xylene, and that is going to help you penetrate a little bit more deeply into the concrete. We're going to drill mix the product. The mixing blade that we're going to use is commonly known as a Jiffy mixer. It looks like this. This is what we prefer because a mixing blade like this does not whip any air bubbles into the product. We're also going to need a clean, empty bucket in order to catalyze the product. So quick note about temperature. Just like with any other StreetBond product, you want to make sure that you have a surface temperature, an ambient temperature, and a product temperature between 50 and 90. So when you're applying the product, we need a temperature of 50 and rising, not to exceed 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So surface temperature, temperature of the substrate. You can use your infrared thermometer to shoot the substrate and make sure that it is within range. Ambient temperature, you can just check on your phone. And product temperature, you want to make sure that that is also within range. You can use your infrared thermometer to take the temperature there. A lot of times, folks tend to leave and store products maybe in their van, in their truck overnight, and when they get to the job, they don't realize that the product may be too cold if it's left outside, or in some climates, the product may actually be too warm. So be aware that storing the product within the temperature guidelines will lead to a more successful application. Let's talk a little bit about the condition of the concrete as well. We want to make sure that the concrete is clean, dull, and dry. So anything that is too smooth, you will probably have adhesion problems. This concrete has been troweled and broomed, so it is perfectly rough in order for us to successfully apply the product. It's been cleaned, and we haven't had rain in a few days, so it is definitely dry. Concrete also, if it's brand new concrete, would need to cure for a minimum of 28 days in order to bring the pH level down to an acceptable range for product to be able to stick to it. So before we get going as well, just want to note that you should make sure that you have your proper PPE. As I mentioned, this is a solvent-based product. Big warning label on the other side of the can. It is flammable, so always make sure that you take proper precautions. You want to wear your eye protection, you want to wear your gloves, and of course you want to wear your N95 mask. Okay, the product ships with a protective top on here, so that obviously would need to be removed. So we've loosened the tops. They're coming off. I'm going to open up the acetone, make sure that everything is ready for me. Again, confirming your part A and part B. You want to make sure that you know which is which. Another way you can tell you've got the right material is the part A is water clear and the part B has an amber tint to it. So now I'm going to empty both buckets into my mixing bucket very carefully. And I'm going to drill mix this at a relatively slow speed. So the TDS says that you should mix this for 5 minutes before you put the acetone in. Of course, anytime you're using with a two-component product, you want to make sure that you follow the mixing instructions as closely as you can, because if you undermix it or overmix it, it will impact the curing. All right, so that was about 5 minutes, and I'm gonna now add the acetone. When you've got it all in the bucket, you're gonna mix it again for another 2 to 3 minutes. All right, so that's well incorporated. Let's talk a little bit about something called induction time or sweat-in time. With this particular product, it needs to sit in the bucket and catalyze before it can be used. There is a 30-minute period where you just have to let it sit in the bucket before you apply it. And again, that's called induction time. So we're gonna go ahead and take that half an hour, and we'll see you back here.